The moon appeared larger that night, emitting an unusual glow that illuminated the sky above Teotihuacan, the city of the gods. The Aztec and Mayan priests watched in silence, their faces painted with ancient symbols, eyes fixed on the celestial darkness. They were guided by an ancient prophecy, a promise of a portal, a mystical threshold that could carry the chosen one's soul to a distant world where eternity was tangible. But what did these wise men truly know about what awaited them on the other side? To what extent would a people go to conquer the unknown? And above all, was it possible to challenge the secrets of the cosmos without consequences? The stars seemed to answer that night. The ancient stone platform, erected centuries ago for sacred rituals, began to glow, vibrating with energy that defied human understanding. When the portal finally opened, revealing an unknown landscape of colors and shapes never seen before, the priests knew they were about to cross an invisible line, a threshold their ancestors whispered about around the fires. On the other side, they would find an alliance with forces from another world. Or were they signing their fate in exchange for power they did not comprehend? In a distant chamber of opaque walls and hypnotic geometry, the Galactic Council observed the approach of the humans in silence. They were beings from different origins and species, all there for their ancient wisdom and abilities beyond mortal capabilities. The decision to open the portal had been made years ago, a test to assess humanity, and this council was not known for tolerating failures or affronts. Among the humans, an explorer named Icarus stood out. Although fascinated by the experience, he showed caution and unwavering pride, a rarely seen characteristic. In a meeting with one of the counselors, a being with luminous skin and a magnetic gaze, Icarus found himself offered a gift, a living gem that pulsed with ancient energy. As he received the offer, Icarus, wary, politely declined, unaware that this simple act would be interpreted as an unacceptable rejection of the alien species' culture and generosity. The council was swift and harsh. In few words, they declared that Icarus had insulted one of the galaxy's greatest traditions. In their eyes, his refusal was an unforgivable offense, one that could only be corrected in one way. Icarus would be executed. His fate was sealed in deafening silence, as humanity, still disoriented by the vastness of this new universe, began to sense the rigidity and arrogance of the laws governing the council. Were these beings truly superior, or just despots with incomprehensible abilities? This tragedy planted the seeds of a silent revolt. In the depths of a distant colony, human scientists, engineers, and visionaries began working in secret, hiding every technological advancement from the council's watchful eyes. Their mission was simple yet audacious: to avenge Icarus, challenging those who dared to dictate the limits of human freedom. After Icarus's execution, an imperceptible change began to grow among the humans who had crossed the galactic portal, especially among the wise Aztecs and Mayans who had observed every detail of the process. To them, Icarus's death wasn't merely a punishment, it was a message. They understood that the council was not a benevolent entity, and that their society would need preparation, and, above all, protection if they were to survive. Led by the sage Kukulkan, a Mayan priest with an unusual glint of determination, the Aztecs and Mayans decided that their natural observation and construction skills needed to be directed toward a greater purpose. Inspired by the energy secrets they had glimpsed through the portal, they began creating their first concealed weapons and methods of defense. Kukulkan, a close disciple of Icarus, took it upon himself to study every piece of knowledge absorbed by his people. He knew that contact with such advanced civilizations required extraordinary precautions. The Mayan priests were the first to construct structures designed to prevent the Galactic Council from monitoring their evolution. They developed the first version of a Faraday cage, using local minerals combined with a special resin extracted from sacred trees. With these cages, they managed to block the energy waves the Council used to observe Earth. It was an unprecedented advancement, a true technological revolution for the time, and a secret kept only among the inner circles of priests and warriors. Over time, Kukulkan's generations refined these methods. Not only did they expand the Faraday cage technique, but they also began applying rudimentary concepts of a Dyson sphere, using the power of the pyramids as solar collectors to power communication devices and concealed weapons. Everything was done in an artisanal manner, disguised as rituals so that the general community wouldn't suspect the grandeur of what was being built. As their skills grew, the Mayan sages began training selected warriors, instilling them with the mission of safeguarding and expanding these secrets. These warriors became known as the Children of Icarus, in honor of the explorer whose death had motivated them to defy the limitations imposed by the Council. Among them was Kale, Icarus's nephew, and someone who had inherited his uncle's indomitable spirit. Kale grew up hearing stories of Icarus's courage and tragedy, and vowed, while still young, to avenge his death and protect his civilization from the control of superior powers. The children of Icarus trained with weapons that simulated electrical energy and concave mirrors capable of focusing the sun's heat on a specific point. Rudimentary but effective techniques. Over the decades, Kale and his comrades developed encrypted communication systems that used ground vibrations, echoing from cave to cave. The mountains became true communication networks, a secret known only to the children. Everything was being prepared for the day when, finally, their technology would match those who considered themselves superior. As centuries passed and Aztec and Mayan knowledge grew secretly, Kale became a revered leader. He understood that to defeat the Galactic Council, it wasn't enough to have weapons. It was essential to understand the universe's invisible forces, those that the Council manipulated with ease. In one of his secret explorations, he discovered the theory of the Dark Forest, which suggested that advanced civilizations conceal their presence to avoid extermination by superior species. With this, Kale realized that to confront the Council, humanity would have to hide until they were ready for a devastating strike. Kale and his allies began studying ways to manipulate electromagnetic fields on a small scale, using specific minerals capable of creating distortions in energy waves. These devices, disguised as religious adornments or elements, prevented their steps from being tracked and protected their conversations. The Aztecs and Mayans were, in effect, assembling an invisible infrastructure, a camouflage network that the Galactic Council could not penetrate. On his deathbed, Kale left one last request to his followers. One day, we and our descendants will no longer have to hide. We will make the Council remember Icarus's name and each one of us. Kale's words became a motto among the children of Icarus, who continued his work, refining technologies and keeping secrets until their revolution could unfold. They understood that they were dealing with beings of incomprehensible power, but they also knew they had found, in their unity and knowledge, a force that could face any threat. Centuries later, the Galactic Council suspected nothing of what was being forged in Earth's shadows. The Galactic Council, distant and haughty, turned its attention back to Earth once again. Centuries had passed since Icarus's execution, and the Council decided to probe human civilization again. Intrigued by the advances their spies had noted, even without capturing every detail, humans seemed strangely organized, more prepared and aligned than any other emerging civilization the Council had observed. For them, it would be just another test, a simple inspection to ensure that humanity met the galaxy's standards. When the Council made contact, it expected deference and submission, perhaps even some fear. Instead, they were met with calculated calm. A human delegation, with representatives of the ancient lineages of the children of Icarus, including Kale's descendants, maintained their posture and declared that they had no desire to join the Council. The refusal was unexpected and unsettling. No emerging civilization had ever declined such an offer. Before the counselors could voice their anger or announce any kind of sanction, the humans took the lead, formally declaring war. The Council burst into laughter, a unanimous derisive sound that echoed through the chamber's walls. "You are foolish primates," mocked one of the oldest counselors, an ethereal being with opaline skin and glowing eyes. "You think you can, with your limited technology, challenge the Galactic Council? You are nothing but dust in the vast cosmos. Your rebellion will be wiped out before it begins." However, the chamber sensed a different tension among the humans. There was a defiant gleam in their eyes, a confidence beyond mere bravado. And while the Council insulted them, the humans remained impassive, as if anticipating every word, every gesture. The Galactic Council had never faced a threat from a people like these, and they didn't know yet, but their arrogance was about to be challenged decisively. The war began with an unexpected fury. The Council, used to easy victories and absolute control, launched calculated attacks against Earth and human colonies scattered across the system. However, each offensive was meticulously blocked, as if the humans were one step ahead every time. At first, the Council attributed the failures to luck or underestimating the humans, but it soon became clear that humanity had been planning this battle for generations. The humans were prepared. In secret, they had infiltrated agents over the years, skilled spies who mingled in the galactic colonies, learning the architecture and weak points of the Council's technologies. For every advanced weapon, the humans had developed a counterattack. For every maneuver, an anticipation. They had stolen and enhanced every device possible, developing a deep understanding of the Council's defenses and weaknesses. The humans' enhanced technology, from agile and almost invisible ships to camouflage systems inspired by the Dark Forest theory, made the Council hesitate. In one of the fiercest battles, the humans manipulated magnetic fields and networks of electric pulses to block and disable the Council's main attack fleet as if they were merely switching off a machine. Each new attempt by the Council was nullified with precision. What once seemed a primitive army now acted with astonishing strategy and precision. At the height of the war, a decisive battle unfolded before the Council's home planet. The human fleet, surprisingly robust and equipped with hybrid technology, advanced with determination. The Council's chamber, which once radiated unshakable security, now was filled with looks of terror and bewilderment. The humans had become the real threat the Council had feared for ages, but never admitted. In the final battle, as the Council's main vessel exploded in a blinding flash, the voice of Kale's descendants echoed through space, a simple but powerful message. This is for Icarus. Those who survived understood the weight of the phrase. It was not just revenge, it was the liberation of a species once deemed inferior. Humanity had defied and defeated the Galactic Council, a feat that would mark the beginning of a new era in the galaxy.